Hello everybody, back and better than ever. This is Jordan, host of AlterElement Games, and it's been a while. And this time I'm here to talk about Final Fantasy 15, the game that took over 10 years to make and develop and went through development hell. But that's not the issue. The issue pertaining to this video is Final Fantasy 15's bad storytelling and poor narrative throughout the entire game. I mean, the game is fun, really fun, and has some of the best music and combat in recent iterations of the Final Fantasy series. But with that poor narrative, it kind of makes it hard to care about it altogether. So buckle up, folks. This is the rundown, Final Fantasy style. Warning, this episode of the rundown of Final Fantasy 15 might contain slight story spoilers. If not story spoilers, then the main through line of the entire narrative of the story, and a great deal of salt, because you know what? Some of the keyframes of this story and plot line is bullshit, like absolute bullshit, which I have to talk about. Woo, there's a big issue here, so let's get to it. Alright guys, so first of all, Final Fantasy 15 as a whole, the entire game is a fun thrill ride. It's one of the best Final Fantasies gameplay wise I've played in a really long time. Going out in the actual field and finding monsters that pop up and you just fight them instead of this turn-based nonsense, you actually get down to the nitty-gritty. Spears, swords, guns, everything that you have in your arsenal, use against them. And the warping from point to point to regain mana, fire and magic and all that other stuff being the climax, the pivotal essential thing that you need to use but sparingly, that changes the battlefield as you use it, as the land gets scorched under your feet when you use fire. That's one of the greatest feelings about Final Fantasy 15. This game is a marvel when it comes to its presentation, how it affects the characters, how you hit an enemy and it actually feels like you're hitting something. Hit detection feels great, the combat feels fluid and fun. It can be repetitive at times, but it's your choice to change it up with some magic and different weapons and different assists and team techs and stuff like that. That's up to you. Overall, the gameplay is awesome. But when it comes to the story and the narrative and how they present the story, that's where Final Fantasy 15 falls and fails. Me and my friend have played at least 50 hours of this game, 30 hours of the story, the rest of doing side quests and chocobo runs and monster hunting. Now, here are my problems with Final Fantasy 15. 1. The low depth of characters, side characters, aside from the 4 main heroes. They get so little screen time and you barely even remember them. The only ones that you kind of remember are Cindy, Cid, Luna, because she's also a main character, because you know she's the main through line to get to her to get married, and you know that's not even a spoiler, and other characters like other few characters in between, but it's not, they don't evolve or change or anything like that. They show up, they say, hey, how you doing, this is what I'm here to do, and then that's it. They don't grow with you with your team, and that's kind of a small nitpick because there are a lot of Final Fantasies that do that, where side characters don't really get that much screenplay. But damn man, in this game it is prevalent on like who needs screen time and who doesn't, because of how many scenario writers got changed over the development of this game. It is really poor in how they show these characters and then they say like something that sounds important and then all of a sudden it's just gone. Like they don't even talk about it again. It's not even a through line. It's not even worried about. It's just something to push the story along and then it just moves on. Number 2, multiple poor narrative choices. Now when I say this, there are 3 ways that Final Fantasy 15 tells the story. 1 is flashbacks, and quite a few flashbacks, like not you know, it's not even quite a few, it's like very tidbits of like flashbacks that happen between you and Luna, and sometimes you and the king. Like, you are Noctis, so you and the king, and Noctis and Luna. Like, those are the flashbacks that they tell and try to like build character, stuff like that, try to get you to care about Noctis. But you only care about him, you know, because he's the main character and that's who you're controlling. Like, some of the emotional parts aren't really that emotional because you don't have the build up with this character. In the beginning of the game, Noctis seems like a freaking asshole because, you know, he's just like, whatever dad, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, and then he just moves on. Another thing about the narrative choices in this game is the notes of like background story bits that you see late on in the game. Let me explain. There's an event that happens with the Empire, and it's really critical of what's going on. You invade the Empire, and you know, you're going to their land, and you're going to figure out, you know, what can we do to stop this, and you know, figure out what's going on behind the scenes, behind like the main enemy, the Magitech armor enemies. Like, what are they? What are these people, right? So you figure out what are the demons in Magitech and how are they made through cliff notes and pieces of paper on the ground in the game. You just pick up paper, look at it, and read the story, and then that's it. And then Arden, one of like the side characters, elaborates a little bit of the story, but it's not fully presented to you. Like, it's so lazy. It's so lazy how they tell this story. It feels like 3 or 4 writers just went through and recycled and hurry up and patched the story up just to get this game made. And you know what? That may seem logical because this story is so patched up. When you get literal pieces of paper on the ground that tell you the background of the story, that is where I have a problem. Like, that's no good at all. And this happens for like 2 or 3 chapters, and that's not good, man. Like, I can understand it in like a game like Resident Evil where it's like, you know, tidbits of like scientific notes of like what's going on in the background, right? Because it's kind of like the same in Final Fantasy 15, but not as, you know, it's not presented as well. It's so random when it happens. You find this like these little bits of notes like next to a soldier, like a dead soldier. Like, what? It's not even like a book room or like a office. It's like a random place where you see soldiers on the ground and they're miraculously holding a piece of paper with background story. Like, who thought of this, man? It's like, yo, it's a key factor to the story. Let's add this little script in the background right here so they can, you know, they can know a little bit about what's going on with the Magitech armor and demon. But in Resident Evil, you see like, okay, I'm in this lab. I'm in this particular part of the mansion. We're in this library or study, and there's these books that you are able to read and cliff notes and stuff like that because the situation presents itself like that. Because inside of an office or a study or something like that, you expect to see some background, some notes within the lab, within the office, because it makes fucking sense. Here in Final Fantasy 15, it's like, we have some soldiers on the ground and we need some foreshadowing and background for some apparent reason to connect the story. Here's some pieces of composition notebook paper on the ground. Like, come on, guys, you can do better than that. And lastly, at the end of the game, not gonna spoil too much, it's a certain character lore, like, gives you a lore dump of what happened while you were, per se, busy. I'm not gonna ruin anything because, you know, it's like a main part of the story and it's like a major spoiler. This character gives you exposition of why the kingdom has fallen, what happened to the side characters that you met up earlier. Instead of meeting up with these characters, you talk to this one person and they tell you what happens to them. Instead of meeting up with the characters and visually seeing what happened to that said character. Like, what the fuck happened to this story? I don't want this one character, this one side character to give me a 20-minute explanation of what happens to the side characters, you know, when a war is going on. No, I actually want to see it presented in front of me, either through gameplay or through a cutscene like what Final Fantasy does in their main series. What has happened here with the storytelling? This is not good. I don't want somebody to give me dialogue options like in Mass Effect with no morality or concept or anything, just to be a lore dump. This is not Dark Souls. Do not do this for your narrative in your stories in game. This is really poor execution when you're telling a story. This is really bad. And that's what I mean about poor narrative choices. Flashbacks, notes, and random pieces of paper on the ground, and lore dumping by one character. All this happens towards the end of the story, and you really feel not compelled about the story at all once it gets to this point. It's like, what's going on? And stuff happens off screen that are major plot devices, but just like are randomly like smoothened over. Like, yeah, this happened to this character, whatever, it happened off screen. Or remember this character that was supposed to be intimidating and, you know, like you really wanted to fight his ass because, you know, he seemed like a really interesting character, but a badass? Well, not anymore, because he's irrelevant now, and these particular people are irrelevant now because the story prompts it to be. Like, what happened to this narrative, man? I feel like the gameplay was so much focused on, which I understand why, because I love gameplay over everything else, but there has to be a through line of what I am doing while I'm playing this game. Like, there has to be a purpose. Like, what am I doing? Like, who am I engaging with in this story? Why am I fighting this person? Why am I fighting this empire? What is going on? Why do I need to fight this empire? Like, are they a threat? Show me that they are a threat. Don't show me flashbacks, scenes from a movie being your only source of storytelling for the empire. Spoiler. Like, what the hell happened there? Let's not do that ever again, where the only plot device for the empire, the main antagonist of the story, you only get through the movie, and that is it. Damn it, guys, we can do better than this. Jesus Christ, if it wasn't for the gameplay and for like the side events and the world design, oh my god, I would not even continue playing Final Fantasy 15. They are so lucky, man, that the rest of the game is just spot on, because this is just poor. And then lately, I've heard news of rumors of DLC showing what happens off screen to these particular characters that you actually want to care about. Like, what? That's not even fallible. Like, who? DLC? I have to pay an extra amount of money to understand what happened off screen to this character? Oh my god, that is the most asinine, most bullshit way of telling a story I've ever seen. That's ridiculous. And if you guys feel the same way, please let me know, because for so far, I know a lot of people that are saying the story in this game is complete shit, and I'm saying the story and narrative of this game is complete shit. Alright guys, this is your man Jordan, host of AlterElement Games. Woo! There's a lot of salt in this video, but please understand, when you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you want the product to be an all-around great, you know, success. But when people when people cut corners, especially in story and in gameplay, then you have to call them out on it to do a better job. And then when you hear rumors about people trying to shill out side bits of the actual story that should have been in the game in the first place, that's what really grinds my gears. Hopefully this is not the case, but hopefully there's a director's cut in the future that's like half the price, or that's like a free download or something like that, because I actually want to see like a full telling of this story. I feel like bits and pieces of Final Fantasy 15 was removed due to deadlines, was removed due to, like, you know, short time constraints and, you know, really development problems that they couldn't really handle and tried to fit within their deadline within a certain time that they had to do it. You know, they wanted to get the game out as fast as possible because it was already being delayed and procrastinated throughout, you know, 10 years. So, you know, they did what they had to do and changing scenario writers over and over again, and I'm hearing they changed it like 4 times. Like, wow, that's a lot of writers that you have to cycle with. That's almost as bad as like Suicide Squad and them having like a script being made in like 6 weeks without any proofreading. That's really bad. So please understand that, yeah, this game went through some hell and high water, but like I said before, as a fan, and a lot of us are Final Fantasy fans, we expect that to be better and, you know, better executed for our entertainment if we're gonna pay the full 60, if you know what we mean, and if we're gonna wait 10 years for it. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Like the video and tell me what your opinions are about Final Fantasy 15 Story. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching The Rundown. Peace out.